Good afternoon and good morning, wherever you may be. I'm Andy Sternberg from Los Angeles for TechZulu, and I'm here with Joergen Aaboe of MomentFeed. We're at the TechZulu on the TechZulu set of the Indiegogo Lounge at South by Southwest, right across from the Austin Convention Center, where the South by Southwest interactive sessions are in full flow. They've had some big days yesterday and today, and I'm here with Joergen actually for the second day in a row. Yesterday we were at an LA Tech event called LA Tech Connect.
Yeah, not bad, huh?
Just up the street. It was an amazing event that saw lines around the block, capacity all day. One of the coolest day parties I've been to during Interactive, for sure. And you had MomentFeed was there, several other large influential tech companies from Los Angeles, and Joergen was probably the most popular guy there. And not just because he's so cool, but because he was the man with the Stubbs barbecue.
Yeah, now, I'll tell you right away, I enjoyed that too. I was serving it up for everybody, but I enjoyed a lot of that too. I mean, Austin and barbecue goes hand in hand, obviously, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, I can't stop thinking about it. It just kept coming. It's first the brisket, and then the tri-tip. But how about some chicken? How about some sausage?
Yeah.
6 hours of barbecue. I guess that's how they do it here in Austin. It's a little different than my Los Angeles diet, but when in Austin, we do as the Austinites do.
Yeah, when in Austin, have some barbecue. That's basically it.
Exactly. So how else has your South by Southwest been?
It's going really well, and I think first, back to that LA Tech Connect event yesterday, got to give Nicole Jordan and that team a shout out for putting on that event. It was really, really good. So many people, lots of great conversations. We were happy to be there as one of the 20 LA tech companies that were presenting, and a lot of good conversations. We flew in on Saturday, so it was a little wet on Saturday. Noticed that. I think everybody else did too, but other than that, it's been really good. Just had some conversations this morning with a few brands that we're working with. Very, very great to just be able to meet people in person, have these conversations. What we're passionate about is authentic marketing for big brands, and even big brands getting down and delivering local relevance for their customers. And I think that's what we all want as consumers, right? Especially in this mobile era where we're scrolling through news feeds, our standards are so much higher when it comes to relevance now, and we're helping brands with that. Really excited about it. So when we can have these conversations in person, it's just great.
I absolutely agree. As someone who is absolutely married to my phone, I don't want to see something that's not relevant. I know I'm going to get barraged with ads when I least expect it, but when it's fluid, I could really kind of respect it, and I'm more likely to click on something, and especially when you bring localization into it and make it geolocal, then I'm more likely to walk into a store.
Yeah, and I think what's happened is, the local marketing concept has been around for a long time, but in the mobile era, you can really think of location as a signal for relevance. And so don't think about it as local marketing. Think about using location and the knowledge around that to deliver relevance for your customers, for you and me. Deliver something that's based on not necessarily us walking down the street and, now we're close to this place, but know which community I'm a part of. Know which stores I actually go to. The way we look at it is, sure, we can be passionate about a brand. We can have an affinity for a brand, but we have relationships with people. So we really have relationships with the people in the stores, in the restaurants, in our communities, and we have connections to these places. And brands can really leverage that, and we see a bunch of our brand partners doing that.
So do you see a lot of these bigger brands really starting to get into the mobile marketplace, and are they really starting to focus more on mobile as a way to connect and to reach out to them?
Yeah, I think just about every company we talk to now is saying that mobile is one of their big initiatives. Some of them will say, we don't know exactly what that means. We're still trying to figure out what exactly to do when it comes to mobile. What's interesting to us is that mobile has sort of been talked about for the past almost 10 years, right? Oh, next year, it's really going to take off, And what we've seen in the numbers is really that 2013 was truly the year of mobile. That is when the numbers really got to a certain point, and it actually started growing faster than even the most optimistic projections in terms of adoption. So now everybody's really scrambling to figure out their mobile strategy. And the one thing that we tell brands to keep in mind is that we may not want to think of mobile as a channel. Mobile is really a paradigm. Mobile is a set of expectations. Mobile is really now part of our lifestyle, and it's not just another device through which you can send anything just to reach people.
Absolutely, and it's not just the smartphones, which have reached a big threshold, especially in the United States, but now you've got the wearable technology as well.
Yeah.
That is also another advertising platform. And you're also going to know who's doing what, who is exercising, who did just go on a 2-mile run and maybe wants to get a Gatorade or some other product.
And brands are still figuring out. I think it's fair to say, as an industry, we're still figuring out exactly how to engage people through those means. Just really important that at the highest level, the brand considers authenticity and relevance some of the key things that drive those messages. If not, we as consumers are not going to respond to it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. Or we'll respond negatively, which, of course.
There you go.
So how does MomentFeed recommend its clients and the businesses that work with MomentFeed? What do you recommend that they do, and how do you work with them to get in front of the mobile consumer?
Yeah, well, that really is the key. Get in front of the mobile consumer, do it before your competitors do, and establish those connections. We look at really 3 things that you have to do. The first thing you have to do is try to aggregate these local audiences that surrounds either the stores that you're selling through or the restaurants that you have, or whatever it may be. You have to think about these now as local audiences, local communities. And you can aggregate them in a number of different ways. The first thing you actually have to do is make sure the infrastructure is in place. Essentially the social local infrastructure, whether that is Google Place pages or local Facebook pages, etc. Foursquare is tremendously important too, because as you're tagging photos on Instagram to locations, you're using the Foursquare database. And the same goes with a lot of other apps that people aren't thinking about. But that infrastructure has to really be in place, and you got to get your arms around location data and all the platforms and apps that the location data applies to. Then you have to find these right and scalable ways to really engage. So we have, as part of our platform, we have something we call local voice, which basically gives brands a tool to communicate from the corporate marketing department out to each local audience through the different channels that those consumers are using, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, etc. And then at the end of it all, you really have to be able to measure how that's doing on an ongoing basis. And what you really want to do is you want to measure how you're doing engagement-wise relative to your competitors. So the MomentFeed platform really supports all of that, and we think that's really the approach to take to mobile and local engagement, even for national and global brands.
So this is a platform that someone who is maybe a CMO or someone who's working in the marketing department can easily use and utilize, and it will also deliver analytics.
That's exactly right. The one thing I'll add to it, though, is that for certain brands that want their local store managers or even franchisees to have some sort of influence in this ecosystem, there are tools to do that too. So you could have either a CMO saying, hey, we're going to control all this at corporate, or we're going to give our local managers all the tools to do this, or you can be anywhere in the middle through some of the workflow tools we have. So it's really important that each brand finds their own way of doing this.
And do you think, when you look at the marketplace, when you're here at South by Southwest with all these companies, do you see
and the great music?
The great music. It's
yeah.
like, oh, okay.
Oh, people can't hear this? We're jamming over here.
Yeah, it's like Sprockets from Saturday Night Live. I'm ready for Michael Myers to get on the set. But sorry, you can't hear it. And if you guys have any questions for me or for Joergen's, feel free to ask in the video and where you're watching the video, or you could tweet at TechZulu. Efren's out here keeping an eye out. We also want to give a shout out to Amanda, who I'm sitting in for, Amanda Coulong, who's out in Maine tending to her father, who we hope is on the mend. And really excited to be here at another South by Southwest on day, I don't even know what day it is, but it's definitely Monday.
It is Monday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good. Thanks so much for chatting with me.
Absolutely. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise.
And do you have anything else that you're really looking forward to over these next couple of days with South by? Are you
surviving.
Yeah,
hydrating, and maybe even stretching. You know, it's really, really important. There's a lot of activity going on here. No, really, it's just more conversations. It's great to connect with people in person, like yourself as well, and really just have these conversations about what's going on in our space.
I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
So, well, thank you once again.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing what MomentFeed has going into the future. And thanks everybody for watching. We'll be back in a little bit with Ryan Magnuson from Grail. And then we'll keep it going throughout the afternoon here.
Thanks a lot.